Hello everybody, I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. It's been a bit of a rush this morning. There's been so much going on. I wanted to give you a couple of sneaky peeks, please. So, first of all, on Friday morning, I think it's at, I want to say it's 9 o'clock, but please check the schedule because it could be earlier than that. I have got a brand new guest, and it's somebody who has been here at iHub for a while. A young man called David. He's absolutely adorable. I want to adopt him. You're going to want to adopt him too. But the thing that I'm most impressed with is the quality of his work. It is exceptional. Now, the other thing is, he used to work at Pets at Home. So when I first interviewed him, he was working in retail. He was with all those fluffy animals, which immediately made me fall in love with him. But then he showed me some of his work, and his interior design skill, his choice of paint and colour and construction is phenomenal. So he's doing his very first show. He has done a few Facebook Lives and little videos, but I want to give you, he doesn't know I've borrowed these. I've just literally borrowed them and got them off his table while he wasn't there. We've got some pieces of MDF. This is one of them, and I wanted to show you them because he's going to be showing some different techniques and how to decorate them. So first of all, this is a little box, and so you've got the actual inside, and then he's decorated the side of it, and that goes inside the little basket box, and then you've got all the details here. Now I've got my name on this one because this is going to become my new Facebook Live toolbox. So David doesn't know, but I've just told all of you, and he really won't want to disappoint all of you. So this is going to be, you're going to see this with me when I do my Facebook Lives. But I also wanted to show you a couple of other things that he's done. So these are his little cupboards. And so he's got little cupboards that he's decorated. They're not quite finished. He'd be cross at me for showing these projects because they're not finished. He's got all the sort of touching up and everything to do and put the little handles on. And then look at these. And these pieces, I mean, they are just adorable. And both of these are on Friday. He's going to show you how to put the little stoppers on so that the doors don't go in, how to decorate them. He's got loads of finishes planned, so I'm quite excited about that. So pop those down there. Then I want to also give you, I've got a full card demo prep that I'd like to share with you, and I'm going to give you a couple of little sneaky peeks. So I've got a giveaway as well, which is the Peaceful Picture decoupage, and I've actually got that to give away, which I'm really excited about because this has been one of your favourite collections and it's been out of stock. Get messages for people asking if it's coming back in stock, so we're going to do that as a giveaway. And then I'm going to show you a selection of products that I've got at the weekend. And so I'm going to launch a new signature collection. This one's called Faded Suede. And I'm not very good with words, but I like words that go together. And Faded Suede, for me, is just perfect. I like the idea of, you know, when you get the nap on suede, and you can, when you rub it one way, it looks like dark. When you rub it the other way, it looks faded. I love that. And, and I've just remembered, I want to say hello to everybody, not just the people that are here in the UK or maybe you're in Spain, but also our colleagues over in America. And we moved the time of this to slightly later, hoping that some of you might be up. Would you do me a huge favour? If you are from, well, wherever you are in the world, when you make your little notes or you enter our giveaway, or you put messages on, would you please tell me where you are so that I can just say hello to you? I'm going to be doing some special pre-records for our American colleagues, and I'm pretty excited about it because I've worked out some new techniques and I'm going to share those with you next time. I just want to show you the Faded Suede collection. So this is, do you know what? I caught sight of myself. I had to do a show review the other day and I caught sight of myself. I look like a Teletubby. I've got my hair up here Have you seen them? They've got those aerials coming out the head. I look just like one of them, round and with the little aerial coming out the top. Honestly, I was like, that's not good look. I need to get to the hairdressers and on a diet. So what I've got here is everything that's on the USB, and it's a pretty big set, but the reason I wanted to show you is I want to show you the different colourways that I've got. And this is a bit more about, these are faded suede, that's suede textures that's going to be on the back of the cards, and then the envelopes that you're getting, and the striped cards. I've got faded suede stripes in here, so I'm quite excited about that part of it. And then you'll see that you've got this lovely, lovely finish to it. And the faded background, that suede texture, was also with text, lots of lovely florals in here, and the charisma for the actual designs is actually quite strong. So we've got a contrast in it. So I'm going to be teaching elements of contrast in the show that I'm doing. I'm also printing out onto vellums as well. And then I'll show you these quickly. So this one is the ringlet die for the happy birthday. This one is the ringlet that's filled with rainbows. And this one is a special person. And this one is our easel die. And I'm going to show you a few folds with that. So I'm going to put that one to one side in a minute. Then I've got the actual collection, them all together. And what you'll notice is they've got a silver background. So I'm actually putting silver or gold mirror behind the design. So you're sort of getting like a shadow, a faded shadow. This is my Hyacinth, which is quite a really strong looking flower. Then this one is Japonica, slightly softer, but also love the shape on it. And it's very much a sort of vintage, old-fashioned Victorian flowers. This is Pink Roses, and this is the Language of Lace, and this is all of them together with that lovely background and the way the flowers come. And I think it's really, really special the way that the cream is picked up in the roses and those colours just literally flow together. And then a few examples of using them with the background, so they do look really, really cool. I'm quite pleased with this collection. I think it's been really strong. And these are flowers that I've had as pot plants. So you will recognise them as being, maybe you've got pot plants like this as well at home. So I'm just going to put those out to one side. And then the other two things that I've got on the show is I've got a lovely floral doily, and I'm calling this a Moosie Doily. And I'll show you how we're going to make stuff with this. And this is a Tusi Moosie, and this is the border here. And Tusi Moosies were like cones that we had in the Victorian age, and they were filled with gifts and different things like that. So I've got here, this is one of the designs, and this is actually the card shape. Now, what looks great with this is we've got a whole selection of different pieces. And what I really love is that if I want to make this into a card, just a regular card, I'm just going to fold that in half. Just use my fingernail because I haven't got my score tool with me. And I take one of my shapes and I put my shape like this on the front. So I'm just going to turn it over. You can see the contrast that we've got there. And I'm going to turn that back and I'm going to create this shadow effect. And look at this. That just fits perfectly. So I've got this lovely effect where we're getting tone on tone, and I'm doing that before I then put my colour over the top of it. And I just thought that it would be nice for you to be able to see how I'm going to be putting elements of the lace. I'm going to be building this up as a metallic design and then actually putting the colour over the top. So that's one of the techniques that I'm going to use in the shows. And then just going to pop these back. Had a bit of a disaster this week. I've been over in Peterborough for a couple of days and going back again tomorrow, and of course I've got David's show on Friday. And I got in really late, and it just seemed like Mel always parks really perfectly, and there was some of the neighbours had parked, and it was just a little bit all over the place when I went to try and park the car, and I was a bit tired, and I thought, I know what I'll do, I'll park on the grass opposite the window. So I went to park on, and I couldn't get the car. You know, have you ever tried to get in a car parking space and just cannot get it in? And you're going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. And I thought, oh, this is taking forever. So anyway, I did the car, and then I went backwards, and I ended up in the hedge. I didn't think it was bad until I got out the car and I tried to get the stuff out the boot. So I managed to get the boot open, but I couldn't get the boot shut because there's a branch in the way. And then the heavens opened, not just a bit, absolutely throwing it down. So I left the branch in the boot and went inside. I got talking to Mel and forgot. So I woke up in the morning with a branch in the boot. So when I tried to drive away, I had to stop, get out and go and fluff the hedge up a bit so you couldn't tell where I'd been. I was like, oops, I think I might be in trouble with the neighbours. It's like it just absolutely started raining, which is what happened. I'm sure you're going to know this. When we were camping. So, of course, the heavens opened. We had the biggest thunder and lightning storm you've ever seen. It blew the awning half down. Well, only half. But the best bit was it made it sag in the middle. So all the water had gone into the saggy bit. So when Carl went out, he had to, it was swinging with all the water in. So he ducked under. He ducked under to get out of the way. And it came through the hole. He got a shower. I was just howling, laughing. Anyway, he's like, because, you know, I got the caravan on eBay, it was a bargain. Well, I got the awning free. I told you all, I got the awning free and the man gave it to me for being cheeky. I think he's had the best laugh out of this one because it didn't have all the poles, so we had to tape it up and then her car got a free shower. It was really good. Right, so what I've done here is I wish you guys were in the room with me because I so love doing this stuff. I really enjoy just having a chat with you. I've taken a background. This is one of the ones from the actual USB. And so you'll see it's got the doily design on it. Now, I'm going to show you the actual doily. And if you look at these, you'll see how the pattern is actually the same pattern. So took the die file and used it to create the pattern on the actual background, and that has made a real difference. Then put this gold mirror on because a lot of this show is going to be about mirror. What I've also got, square card, fold one half back, a little bit of ink. Now, tip for you, when you're doing this at home, so that you don't get the ink on the edges, it's so obvious. You put your piece of card down and then ink it, so that any spare ink goes on here, not on here. Whoops. Oops. Then this piece. Now I'm going to put this in, and I'm going to put the actual doily part of it. I'm going to put at the bottom of this card, and I'm then just going to position this over the front or the inside, and then this front panel, I've got the doily here, and I'm going to put the doily on this one up on the top panel, so you can see that I'm sort of creating like an S shape with that, so that it goes round and joins up and links the bottom. And then I'm going to use the flowers to join the whole thing. But what I've done with the actual, I'll just pop this on, what I've done with the, whoops, go down a bit, with the actual doilies, I've cut it 3 times. Oh, it's not very straight. Right, I'm going to lift this. One of the problems with mirror board is that sometimes if you do lift it, you can get creases in it. So just be careful of that happening if you do lift. I've just used the back of my nail to get rid of that little crease. So here I've got one that's cut out of the backing paper, and I've used the same backing paper, but it's the piece that's in the middle of this sheet. And then I've got a gold doily and then a plain doily. And the plain one has got a little bit of ink around the edge, and it's just offset so that we can see that little bit of gold through. Now, I've got a couple of choices here, and this is quite interesting. I can put the doily to the front like that. I can put the doily to the front like that, and I would then make a little stand to support it. I could put the doily inside like that, and then this flower would go across here. Or if I put it on here, my flower could go like that. Or if I put it inside like this, I could put my flower across like that. So we've got 4 or 5 different ways of doing this just by using the elements that we've got. But for the purpose of today, I've only got the tape on one side so that I can go on one side of this fold back. So I'm literally going to be putting it here. And when I put the tape on, I looked at where I was going to put this because I want the gold effect, the shadow, to go towards the gold here. So I'm drawing your eye from the extension across the card by using this gold to actually make that journey. So just going to pop that in there, and I'm feeling at the back that that foam is actually covered and is where it needs to be. And then I've got my flower here. And for the demo, I'm just going to tuck it in to, and I know I can get it under here because I've practiced it. So I'm just going to get it in here, and I'm going to tuck that underneath my doily. There we go. And it's actually going to be tucked in place. And then I've got some spare leaves if I want to use those. And I've got a little sentiment, but I would just put my little for you at the bottom there. And I think it really finishes it off quite nicely. And again, I could tuck that so it goes just underneath. And if I hold it this way so you can see it better. So that leaf just comes just over the top. So it's a really nice way of getting a good finish to a card, making it look really professional. And of course, having this lovely finish. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you for my new signature. And then of course some little pearls to just finish it off. And then let's show you a few more pieces. Not quite sure where I've got a piece where that came from. So I've got some more cards in here, and I want to show you these ones. So I'm just going to get out here. This is the set that I'd like you to see. So here I've got, there are those lovely flowers, and again this time slightly different. The hessian to give us that vintage look, the pearls just finishing it off. Now this is also quite clever, taking different size pearls so that it leads you into a story and then a full stop. So here's the story and then a full stop. Here's the story, then a full stop. So creating a little story. Then I've got another one here. And what's really clever about this one is that because with each of these frames, you've got this open edge at the top. When I lift that up, you've got an aperture that you can see through. So it's another clever way of using frames. Here is another one where this time you've got the actual card shape. So that's the card shape, it's the card Amanda did. And then the text, which we've got, which is from an embossing folder. All of that beautiful decoupage and then very subtle messaging in there. Here, even more interesting, where we take the vellum, so printing those backgrounds onto vellums, and again putting in that extra little bit of shabby detail, so that finishes it off well. And this is another nice little technique. So you take your square that you've got your sentiment on, you put a double layer of foam in the middle and a single layer of foam at either end, and then you make that bow, just very slightly, but you see that little bit of bowed dimension. And it actually, again, it adds more detail to the card. So instead of us doing all of our flat matting and layering, we're adding dimension, choosing our glues and making a difference with each one of those. So I'm just going to show you a couple of quick card shapes which I thought you might enjoy. So I'll just move these out of the way and get my little bits from here. So I'm going to do this card all in white. So I'm going to keep the colour completely out of the way and make it all in white. And what's nice is all of the little lines that you get with your tattered lace die actually are going to be the things that are going to make this more interesting and more exciting. So to my little toolbox, which I won't have to do this soon because I have that toolbox David's given me. So I'm quite excited about that. And I'm after, where is it? I need that. And I need that, there it is, the pokey tool. Right, so I'm going to just use the reverse of my pokey tool to get some dimension. And so I'm getting some dimension on my flower. I'm going to get some dimension on this leaf, and then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to do this leaf and this leaf, and I'm just going on those edges, that little flower there and a little bit on here. And so what you will see now is it comes up here, it comes up here, and it bows here. And this is and this one I've left flat. So you can see how by using the lines that are cut into your tattered lace dies, we can get some really clever effects, and that actually makes this really useful. So I've now got my card shape, and I'm going to use my glass cutting mat again, and I'm going to centre this either side, which I've done. I'm going to hold that down, and I'm going to take this side in, and I'm using the centre line here to actually make this fit. And there we have now got a perfect gatefold. So there's our gatefold. We've also changed the size of the card, because if I go back to the one I folded a minute ago, and I don't know what I've done with it, get a little one and show you. What did I do with it? Well, I'll show you it like this. So if I fold it like that, it's going to measure 13 centimetres. If I fold it like this, it measures nearly 14. Because what I'm doing is I'm using, when you put it together, this part of it actually becomes smaller because you haven't got the luxury of those two edges touching each other. I'm going from there to there. So it does make a little difference, and you get just a slightly bigger card. Right, I've got some lace, so I'm going to have a piece of lace coming out. Now I'm actually going to make that lace be part of this story. I've also got a panel which I'm going to put in here. So I've got my panel coming out. So now, this is the other little thing I wanted to share with you. So let's say I want to create an A5 card. There's my A5. So I'm going to turn this round, and I know that that's the template I'm going to work in. Now sometimes some of the things I do, if I'm batch crafting and I've got 5x7 envelopes, I'll mark 5x7 on my glass cutting mat, use something like your red liner tape, it'll peel off afterwards, and you mark out the template, and you know when you're crafting you've got to stay within that size. So this is going to be my A5, so A5 from there to there. So I've got to be just inside that if it's an A5 envelope, and I know that when I now tuck this piece in, I can't come any further out than there, because if I come past that A5 area, it's not going to fit in my envelope, okay? So that gives me my card size. And it's quite a clever little way of working to be able to create shape and also dimension. So I'm thinking about how I'm going to assemble this card and what I'm going to do. So I've got all the pieces out, and I'm now looking at what it would look like if I'm doing different kinds of openings. I'm doing it as an easel card, I'm doing it as a stepper, what's it going to look like each time I do it. So I am going to put that piece back in there, and then I've got a frame here that's ready to go inside. So I'm just going to get out a few of these little pieces that I've got there. They're only tiny, but they do make the difference, and it's that delicate look of tattered lace that really finishes everything off. Can I just say hello to you if you've literally just joined, because I know some people have been joining as we go along, so thank you. So I'm just using my fingers here to get a little bit of shape on the petals. You can use your embossing tool or the back of your pokey tool, whatever it is that works best for you. And I'm going to assemble this part of the card first. So I've turned it over so that I've got the right part of the pattern and it's marrying up to the pattern behind, and you can see that that's looking really pretty. And I need some glue. I knew this was going to be tight. Don't watch. Oh, it's open. There. Oh dear, I once did that with nail glue and glued my mouth shut. Oh, God. Do you know how many calories there are in an envelope? You know the glue on envelopes? There are 3 calories in every envelope. And apparently, oh, somebody once told me as well, this is disgusting, you can get glue mites. I never knew there was such a thing. In fact, I'm not even sure that I do believe it, but apparently you can get glue mites, and glue mites are on the glue on envelopes. Somebody told me that. I don't know if it's true, but I do know that 3 calories is true because I googled it. So you only lick the middle and then it's only 1. So right, so I've put some glue on, and I'm going to now press down the parts of this that I want to go flat. So here, here and here, and just get that glue to catch. So now if you look at this, I haven't put foam or anything else behind it, but look at how pretty it looks. If you look into it, can you see that lovely dimension that we've got and the shadows that you've got? So you're creating this really pretty frame, and by just shaping and white on white, and it looks so clever when you do this, it looks really effective. So I've got my white on white there. I've got my happy birthday, which I'm going to put across here, but again I want to see some shadow. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lift it up slightly. So instead of it gluing flat, I'm just going to lift it a tiny little bit by pulling it in. So that means that I need the glue on the Y and the H. So just those 2 little bits here. And I'm going to start by getting the H down first, and then looking at where it would lay down and just lifting it forward a tiny bit, just the smallest amount, but so that, get me back up there. So I've got my pokey tool underneath, and I'm now able to press it down without making it flat. Okay, so now look how I've created my happy birthday, and it looks like it's in suspension. So that's the next bit of the shading that I've got here. Now I've got a piece of lace, and I need to put some lace in, so I'm just going to tuck that lace underneath there. And am I going to put that there? Yes, I am. So I need to tuck. I thought you played a trick on me then, and you'd got me the scissors stuck because I've licked that glue. Right, so I'm going to just tuck that in there. So I've got some lace. Now I do want this completely flat, so I'm going to go all the way along the middle, all the way along this edge, all the places that I think it could lift up there, all the way along this edge here, just a small amount, and all the way along these edges too. Back under here, was that way, wasn't it? Look better. So under there, so, and that's my lace. And now you can see the lace is flat. I've still got my flowers lifted up, and I've got my happy birthday floating. Now I can look at other elements that I want to create dimension with. So I've got these little extra little flowers that I want to use, and I'm going to put these on foam. And I'm using a 3mm foam because I'll get a better height with this. But remember the little tip, if you haven't got foam that's high enough, fold it over and use it double. In fact, let's do that, and we'll have a bit of foam that's a little bit higher. So folded it over. Now I'm going to just peel off the backing like that, and I've got a double thickness piece, and that's going to sit on here. And I'm just going to put the thinner piece down there, so that's going to roll round, and this piece is going to go there with the more dimension. So now you can see the shadows that we're starting to get with the white on white. And then I'm going to come in here, and I've got my lovely big flower that we're going to put, and that's going to come across the front. So I've now got the lace behind, and I'm building the design. So I need to, but before I do that, I'm actually going to put some glitter on it. So white on white, but with a little bit of glitter. And, oops, I'm going to show you a little trick. So you get a flat brush like I've got here, and I'm just dipping one side of it in the brush, in the glue. And I'm then going to use the edge of my brush that hasn't got glue to go round the edge on the glass mat. You'll see that's completely clean. And everywhere else, I'm just going to pick up, I'm just going to just put little bits of glue. I'm just brushing that in. And then once you've got the glue everywhere you need, because once you do this, the brush is going to have glue on it all the way. So I'm just turning my brush over so I keep my glue off my mat, my glass mat. But once you've got the glue on all the bits that you need, you then come into it and you get your brush and you just flick it like this. And the reason that I don't just flick the glue on to start with is because you end up with too much. And we just want a little bit of it to actually add the detail. So I'm just going to go in here with this. This is looking good. Okay, you in there, that one in there. Right, now look at this. So instead of it being blobby, it looks like it's got little accents of glue. It looks like it's got little bursts of sparkle. So glitter, I mean, not glue. So it really does make a difference and looks quite effective. So now, if I now put this one in here, you can see how I've got that extra layer. So I'm just going to get some white foam, and I'm going to put this one down. So let's get the back off there. And I'm going to put my glue there and here, and that then tucks underneath there with the glittered leaf coming over the top. That one just tucks underneath a happy birthday, and I've got the dimension. Right, so now everything's white, but look how many different shadows you can see. How pretty is that? It just changes all the different elements of it because you've got all those layers. So now the next thing is we need to look at how we're going to put this onto the front of our card. So I've got my lovely card that's there. Remember, I can go up as far as there. And by doing that, I'm revealing some of the shape that I've got at the bottom. So I now need to, I'll just use this for the purpose of speed. So I'm not going all the way down, and I'm only putting the glue on one side. Then coming back to my design, back in my A5 card shape, to make sure that I don't make my card too big. Make sure that I've only got it on one side, and then I've created my card shape. Now, so I've got a problem. It's very top heavy at the front because I've got nothing balancing the bottom. So I've got a couple of choices here. So this is something that's quite interesting. I could extend these petals down to actually give me a little bit more control over the front of the card, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'll show you how we do it. We'll take the flower and we'll get a little bit of colour on there, and I'm going to have to just, because I've got glue all over my brush, I'm just going to have to be extra careful with my glitter in, and I'm flicking it, I'm holding it in my hand, because if you put it onto the mat, you will definitely get too much glitter, and you don't want that. We just want a little bit. So in there, in that pot. Yep, that's good. This one, I want it up there, because that's where the other one went. Right, now, so I need this, I've got to work in this space here. So I need to get this to the bottom, and I've got to make sure that what I'm creating touches this bottom line here. My gloss cutting mat is probably one of my most underrated pieces of equipment, because this is how you make sure everything's level. You can adapt things like I'm doing now as I'm going along. It really does make things so much easier to do. So I've got some double foam on, and I'm going to put that flower there. So I'm just going to make sure, yeah, that's right. Right, got to line this up straight now, because this one, it's important that this one's in the right place, and it's a little bit short. I need it to come down here. So I've put that flower up a little bit higher than I wanted. So I'm just going to look for another leaf, which I probably can't find one at the moment. So cut one yourself, or move this down. Let me move that down and see if that's there. It's nearly, I'm just going to have to move my tape a bit. So excuse me doing this. It would have been easier for you to just cut another leaf, but because I haven't got one and I haven't got my die cutting machine with me, I'm going to just do it like this. So I'll put the tape there so I know that it's in the right place. And let's just peel this off, and let's put our flower there. It's better. Look at that, much better then. The leaf's going to go underneath, so let's line this all up properly. There, right, so I need you to go together, and so I've got that extra little bit of height to my flower. I'm just going to pop you under there, so it's gone onto the leaf like that, and then line this all up here like that. Okay, oops. Right, so I now need I'm quite excited about this. Now I need just a little tiny bit of glue there. So what we've done, we've created a card where we're relying on a little bit of glitter and the shadows to tell the story for us. We're relying on the dimension and the little cuts that you get in your tattered lace dies to enable us to help shape the actual card. And we've got something that was, oops, I need just one more little bit of glue here, which I'm just going to do that. So let me get a piece of card and cut it from this. So this is the last little bit that I need to stabilise the whole thing. So I'm just cutting a little rectangle, which will be there. And then what we've done is we've looked at what happens when we get a card, and this is this is a good thing to do. So you put glue at the front on that side and glue at the back on this side, and then it goes just under there, and you slide that in place. So I've got it on the back of one on the front on the other, and it'll keep it nice and neat. And then what we've done is we've looked at what happens when your card front is too heavy because of the shape of it and it's offset, and how, you actually correct it. So a few little tricks for you, little things that you can do as you go along. And I just think that's so pretty, doing everything in white. Oh, I know what I forgot. My last little bit, the little pearls. And these are going to go just inside my flowers. So I'm going to just put these last little pearls in here. They're going to be our finishing touch, because we need just a little bit of a finish to make this look really, really special. And these have got, it looks like an oyster colour, but actually I think that looks particularly special. So I'm just going to put a few of those on here, and then, oops, elusive little things. And that's going to go there. Just move you, come on. There you go. Just there. And then on this one, we'll just do the same. And we'll just put a little pearl. Put one there at the top. And a couple either side. And that is just using, and these cards look fabulous when you do them in black and white, whatever colours you've got, but monochrome and with a tiny weeny bit of glitter, and it's just the finishing touch. There we go. So really, really, really pretty card, and now perfectly stable instead of the situation we had a few minutes ago where it actually was falling over. I hope that you can find time on Friday morning to come and see me and join me with David, because he is lovely, and I really want to see this young man's career flourish in crafting, and he has so much potential, so much talent, and he's an incredibly generous person, so I know he'll be happy to share his skills. He's scared stiff about Friday. I hope he doesn't watch this before, because I've just told you, but I know he's going to be amazing. And then I'm now getting up at the crack of dawn so that I can be on air at 6:45 with the launch of this new signature collection. So even if you're not in the market to actually buy something, just tune in anyway, just so that I know I've got a bit of company. And I'd like a lovely, nice, milky cup of tea and a lovely ginger nut biscuit. And I really don't mind if you're still in your pyjamas. I'll see you all soon.